So, what is project lifecycle? Well, before going deep into the project lifecycle, one must understand what does lifecycle concept means. A lifecycle is a series of stages a living thing goes through during its life. All plant and animal go through this life cycle, and same is true for any project. In business, the concept of life cycle was developed by German economist Theodor Levin. In 1965, he published his project life cycle model in Harvard Business Review. He mentioned every product goes through the 5 distinct stages, that is development, introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Similarly, every project goes through distinctive stages. During its life, a project goes through various phases. The definition and identification of these phases may vary with size, length, and complexity of the project. Basically, the project lifecycle breaks the project into the distinctive phases. Taken together, these phases represent the path of the project that would take from start to finish. Every project is unique, so does the project lifecycle, since every project has a definite start and end with defined deliverables. Project lifecycle is specific and unique for every program or project. It's a high-level roadmap for the project, and phases are the stepping stone to accomplish it. There is no standard guideline for project lifecycle model. Each industry uses its own variation and project lifecycle model, which may vary from project to project, even in same industry. The naming convention of the phase is mainly defined based on project characteristics, like one industry may name the first step as a concept step, whereas other may name it as initiation phase. One thing I always notice that people are often misunderstood project lifecycle with project management process group. They use those terms interchangeably. Project management process group consists 5 steps, that is initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and closure. Always remember, project lifecycle is not same as project management process. This project management process group needs to perform at every stage of the project lifecycle. And that is about the project lifecycle concept. Now, the question comes, why it is important to define a project lifecycle? And why do we even need a project lifecycle? Well, the first important is to provide the structured approach for project management. The second is the project lifecycle clearly defines and groups the related activity. Third one is it helps to measure the outcome at every end of each phase. Also, it helps the stakeholder to verify the project progress. The fifth one is that it helps in enhancing the effective communication. Okay, then how to develop a project lifecycle? Well, let's take some example to help you understand the process of developing project phase and the project lifecycle. So let's try to develop a project lifecycle for an oil and gas project. This facility means the equipment installed in oil and gas field for exploration, production, or processing the fossil fuel. However, the oil and gas project starts with conceptual study phase of the proposed project and business case. The output of conceptual phase are fed in design and engineering phase. This phase develops the detailed drawings and documents required for execution of the project. The output of engineering phase are fed into the procurement phase. In procurement phase, all material, equipment, and resources are purchased to do the work. Then comes the construction phase, where the majority of action happens at site. In this phase, all required activities are carried out to complete the facility and make it ready for commissioning. Once all the component of facility is ready, the project moves to the commissioning phase. In this phase, facilities are tested and ensure that all the performance parameters are set by a customer are met. Then the facility is moved to startup phase, where the customer starts utilizing the facility with the help of project team. In this phase, facility is handed over to the customer. Then the final step is operation, where the customer takes the full in charge of oil and gas facility and the project is marked as officially complete. Similarly, for a civil infrastructure project, the project life can be divided into 6 phases. The project life cycle of a civil project starts with planning phase and then move into the design phase. Once design is complete, the project moves to the procurement phase. After procurement, project moves to the construction phase where all the building works are done. Once construction is completed, project enters to the operation phase, where facility is utilized by the customer and fully handed over. After the handover, the project moves to the maintenance phase, where all customer queries and complaints are resolved. For a software project, the project lifecycle can also be divided into the 6 phases. The first step is requirement gathering and analysis, This is to understand the proposal put forth by customer and then gather the requirement for a suitable solution. Second step is planning and designing. This is the step when you elaborate the project proposal by developing a plan for meeting those requirements laid out by the customer. The third step is actual building. During this phase, the actual code is constructed. This can be done by a single developer or a large team or even several teams depending upon the scope of work. Then the fourth step is testing. Now that the code has been written, it's time to test. Usually this is done through a special environment so the team can check the bugs and other mistakes. The fifth one is deployment. After all known errors has been eliminated, the software is deployed. This is when the product is actually put into the production and released for business environment. The final step of the project lifecycle is maintenance. During the maintenance phase, the software is maintained so that it always remains effective and relevant. Tweaks can be made in initial software so that it remains a viable solution that is free of bugs. And now you know what is project lifecycle and how to develop it for your project. Bear in mind, a project shifts from one stage to another stage, and to complete the work efficiently, the project demands right effort at the right time from the right people. So, it's critical that every team member of the project have clear understanding of each phase of the project lifecycle. By the way, do you know 48% of the project team members are not fully aware of the complete project lifecycle while they are working in project? Surprising, isn't it? Well, see you later. Bye for now.